And as it is, brethren, the feast, of course, costs money, doesn't it? And I'm here to tell you, it does cost money. Not a few $100s, a few $1,000s, but I'm not here to get into your pockets unless, of course, you're willing to allow me to get into your pockets. Actually, though, the truth of the matter is, I don't like to talk about money and religion. I have mentioned this over and over in the past that, frankly, in many respects, when I was beginning to get involved with the church, I had a real problem because I was a real cynic in respect to the Christian religion and all of what I saw on television and all the merchandising that went on over and over and over. And it really took me a long time to really get over that and to begin to see that there were or was, in fact, a certain sincere work that did and was indeed worthy of my money. Because let's face it, money's personal, isn't it? Money is a very personal thing. How we spend it, how we invest it, what we do with it is a very personal matter with each and every one of us. And without a doubt, church has a business side to it. And I'm here to tell you, it does cost money. But besides that, more importantly, what the money provides us to do on behalf of the work of Jesus Christ is really what is at the heart of obtaining money. Because you see, the Church of God International on an international level devotes more than 50% of all of its revenue to evangelistic work and the associated supported services of that. I want you to understand that, because the result of that has literally generated tens of thousands of bits of information in all different types, shapes, and sizes of formats, whether it's a DVD, a CD, whether it's the printed word, whether it's a television program, whether it's a physical visitation or a campaign by one of the ministers / evangelists working as and in function as an evangelist for a time. All of those events, all of those functions are sustained, provided, and supported by over 50% of the expenses, roughly about a $1.5, $1.6 million a year organization, of which the CGI, the Church of God International, is, in conjunction with many congregations like the Church of God Miami and other independent organizations, congregations, and even, of course, congregations that are full-fledged affiliates with the Church of God International. And we thank you. And I wanted to take a moment on behalf of the Home Office, on behalf of all those of us who work out of the Tyler, Texas location, to give you really an extension of our appreciation for your continued support, and not only in money. Not only in money, because it's more than just your money, don't get me wrong, although in the context of what we're talking about today, yeah, I know it's money, you know. But the fact of it is, it takes more than money. It takes more. It takes prayers. It takes energy. Even all of what has gone on here just in these 8 days is a microcosm of what goes on all year long in the lives, hopefully, of all of us. And that is praying for the sick, praying for God's guidance, praying for God's inspiration on the hearing, on the speaking, so many things. Asking God to open up doors so that we can have a larger voice in the public square. Those are very, very important things. And going back to my presentation, I sometimes think that the priority of God's work isn't foremost in our lives. Pastor Moreno talked about it. People don't see the significance anymore, in many respects, about putting God first. And I say this in this regard, because what you do, brethren, what you do, not what you say, not what you believe in, what you do defines you as what you are. You can tell me anything about you in your aspirations of how you want to be, but guess what? Accomplishments are not built on intentions. You understand what I'm saying? Accomplishments are built on hard work, sleeves rolled up, blood, sweat, and tears, commitment, dedication, priority. And all of that is reflected by what you do. And in this case, in the context of today's program and this offertory, what you do with your money is reflective of really how important the work of God is. I can't make any apologies for asking for money. I can't. God says through the prophet Malachi, does he not? Will a man rob God? You can say, well, Bill, you're taking that out of context. No. The context still remains the same. The principle still extends out. How do you rob God? In tithes and offerings. That's how you rob God. By holding those back, especially when one is blessed. The average income of the world, $8,200. The average income of the United States American, $37,000, average. Plug yourself in and tell yourself how blessed you are financially. But that's only one dimension. How about the more subtle things? The fact that you've got two good working eyes, two good working legs, perhaps. Maybe you don't, but if you've got one, that's something to be thankful for. But you know what I'm saying. Your life, your health, in addition to the times that maybe you've been protected that you didn't even know you missed a bullet or dodged a bullet, as they say. These are all parts and parcel to our life and the things that we should keep in mind when expressing our appreciation for the blessings. And these are all blessings. Blessings come in many shapes, forms, and sizes. And shame on us if we, like the man in the parable that Jesus talked about, who was so concerned about the overwhelming prosperity that he developed, that he couldn't figure out, oh man, I am so blessed, what am I going to do with these? I'm outgrowing my barns. Remember that parable in Luke? I'm outgrowing my barns. What am I going to, oh, I know, I'll build bigger barns. I'll build bigger barns. And that way I'll be able to contain my wealth because I'm so blessed. And so he went out and he built bigger barns. But in the parable, Jesus states, you fool, I'm going to require your life tonight. My question, brethren, and my proposal to all of you today, the reality is, you know what? Your money is not yours. You're just managers for the time. Because guess what? When you die, where is it going? It's staying here and going to somebody else. And that man in that parable, who was intending to do all that he was going to do to accommodate his wealth, when he died, left it. And it was of no value to him. That's my point. Your money, truly, technically speaking, is not yours. You manage it. Oh, you can put it in a trust. You can put it in a CD. You can invest in Apple, maybe Google. You can invest in something else. Or you can just spend it wildly on yourself in clothes and shoes and perfume and whatever else you may want. But the reality of it is, it's only yours for the time. You are managers. I have a challenge for all of us today. I mentioned this back in Ohio when I gave the offertory there for the Feast of Trumpets. That we leave this Feast of Tabernacles with a commitment. And here's the commitment I'd like to propose and suggest. That we stop giving God our leftovers. When we go and pray, we don't pray 5 minutes before we're, no, where was I? Okay, yeah, Father, and we wake up, No, we first thing in the morning or in wherever your good quality time is, we take time and give God quality time, not the leftovers. And furthermore, we don't become binge contributors. We become percentage contributors. Ooh. Percentage contributors. Yeah. Remember that old thing called tithing? Remember some of those old principles that you can't outgive God? Brethren, it's frustrating that the work of God today does not have a bigger voice in the public square. We are a reflection of the level of commitment. Be remiss of me not to remind us of that. We need to be percentage contributors. We really do. Consider that. Consider the fact, don't give God your leftovers. Don't give God just binge contributions. Consider the fact of being truly a percentage giver. And see if you cannot prove God therewith. Doesn't that say that there in Malachi? Prove me herewith, he says. The principle stands. It's a timeless principle. And sadly, I think, in this modern day and age, with all the temptations around us, we oftentimes give God, our leftovers, you see. Don't give God our leftovers. Give God a percentage of what you've earned, the rightful percentage that He owns, so that the work can forge ahead and go forward. The value of this work, brethren, that is the work of God, is very, very valuable. Let me just take a moment out here real quickly. Let me share this with you. This is from a letter that came in to us that illustrates some intrinsic value of an individual that has been benefited by your money. By your money. Just an extra word to tell the Church of God International how much I appreciate and enjoy the literature and sermons you send me, and how it helps open my understanding of the Bible to things I didn't see or understand before. Thank you so much for helping me to learn. That was from West Virginia. Here's another one real quickly here. This is just a short note to say I've heard a lot of good news about your ministry. I pray that God will bless you to continue to carry on God's work. Believe it or not, Frank, that was from Michigan. Private joke. Thank you. Here's another one. Thank you for sending a letter letting me know that you had received my request for prayer. I want to thank you and those who joined with you in prayer for me. And we do that. We take letters and we pray over those letters and take those requests to God, as we have done here during this feast for those who have requested anointing. Here's another one. I have watched the armor of God for the past 7 years. God bless all of you. Keep teaching the good news. From Liberal, Nevada, of all things, where prostitution is legal. They're watching the armor of God. Can you imagine that? They're watching the armor of God in Nevada. These are people, real people, that have real jobs. They have real lives. They eat and they sleep. They go to work just like you and me, and your money is providing truths to them that are making a difference. Brethren, make a difference. Make a bigger difference. As the Apostle Paul said, I understand you have love when he wrote to the Thessalonians, but I suggest to you we've got to do more. We are in a time like never before, as I mentioned in my presentation, and I do not make apologies for that. And I wasn't asked to. It is a fact, and it is the world we're living in. We need your support. We thank you for your support, because we have a mission and a duty to cry aloud and to make disciples for Jesus Christ and to witness and warn of the coming calamities up ahead. So, brethren, thank you in advance for your contributions. We're going to go ahead now and take up an offering, and an offertory will be provided to us by Frank Klett. He will be playing on the piano Prelude number 7 and Prelude number 20. And those of you who need envelopes, you can raise your hands. We have ushers here that can provide you with the envelopes that you would like. Blue envelopes are for the Church of God International. White ones are for the Church of God Miami. After that, we'll have another hymn, and then, of course, the main message following.